Studios. We've got Mississippi GOP Chairman Frank Bordeaux joining us now. Turn your mic a little bit there, Frank. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good to have you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You've been traveling a bit, I bet, huh?
It's been a long 3 weeks, nonstop. I feel bad for my executive director, Tate Lewis, that he's been in the office fielding a lot of phone calls.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you knew that when you went into this deal, though, when you were asked to take on this position. You knew that it was a mobile position, right?
It's a mobile position. I did not know to the extent.
I got you.
So.
Well, I will have to just say that I make a lot of the events that I try to, at least around the state. Enjoy doing that and meeting with other good, like-minded conservative Republicans and just seeing people. It's been a lot of fun. I see you almost at all of them, and I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you supporting. I remember being in Desoto, and a group of y'all came up in support of the Republican Party up there, and that's good to see. And we're starting to see that across the state. A lot of folks are really engaged in the different events, and so we're seeing the events grow. The one in Desoto was amazing.
It was awesome, wasn't it?
It was great.
Really fun. Yeah, so glad we made that trip. Just a great event. And so many great people there, like-minded people, just good people that love this country, love this state, want to see it do well. As simple as that.
That's right.
It really comes down to that. It is. On the other hand, we've got these primary runoffs coming up in a week, and it's a bit disheartening to see the division within our party. I get it; it's politics, and it's a winner-take-all deal. And of course, candidates, they're going to get to a point, inevitably, it feels like, where the mudslinging ensues across the spectrum. But I certainly hope, no matter what happens, whomever prevails next week, that we get together and reunite, and I hope put aside the division, the differences, the confrontation that we've witnessed. I told you offline, I'm just grateful it only lasts about 3 weeks because I couldn't take 6 months of this.
You and me both. Look, as far as us coming together, the one common denominator we have is the failed policies of the Biden administration. My wife and I were in Natchez this past weekend. We were getting gas. We were filling up. And there's an older SUV next to me, and I noticed the lady put $1.50 in her tank. And I told my wife, I said, I'm going to go give her some gas. $1.50 in her tank. So I went and I started filling up her tank. And she did not know who I was, didn't know I was chairman of the party. She said, I'm never voting for Joe Biden again. His effort, she didn't blame Putin. She didn't blame the oil companies. She blamed Joe Biden. And she has no interest in buying an electric vehicle. It's not unique to her. It's not unique to Mississippi. It's not unique. There's millions of Americans that are hurting like she is. That will bring our party together. That's also bringing independents and conservative Democrats over to our party. And so in November, I think across the country you're going to see a huge turnout, but you're going to see Republicans come together after the 28th to beat Joe Biden and Democrats.
I pray that's the case, and you're a good man for helping out. Really are. That shouldn't be that way in this country.
It should not.
It shouldn't be that way. When you've got someone who's likely working and contributing to society,
yep,
and they can't afford to buy but a third of a gallon at a time.
She just left her job. She was going to go pick up her grandchildren so her daughter could go to work. So these are working people.
The people who Joe Biden says that he's the champion for.
That's
he's
right.
the one that's hurting them.
That's exactly
the
right.
people that he says he's a champion for are the ones who are hurting the most from this.
And they're not buying his passing the buck. On every issue, he's trying to pass the buck to somebody else. If it's not the Republicans, it's Putin. And the American people are not buying that. They go home and they see how much groceries cost. They know how much it costs to drive to the grocery store. And so his policies are hitting home, and I don't see the Democrats jumping to turn this thing around. Republicans are going to have an obligation once we take over the House and the Senate to turn this thing around. And I think they're up for it, and I think they're going to do it.
Yeah, I do too. I just still, though, you don't like to see the division within the party and the vitriol that's being tossed around. And again, I get it. part of the way, unfortunately, our political world has shaped up these days. But at the end of the day, we're so much stronger when we're working together against what should be our common foe, and that's these disastrous policies.
That's correct.
That we're getting out of the Biden administration, the Democrats. And I've heard the same thing from people and people in my orbit that have talked to others who are Democrats are saying, I'm done with this, man. This is ridiculous. No, and Rhino and I've talked about this many times on the show because it's in your face all the time. You can't escape it. It's at the gas pump. It's at the grocery store. It's at the restaurants. It's everything you buy and everywhere you go. You can't hide from it. And so it's just constantly a reminder. And Frank, I think it'd be different had this gotten traction, this inflationary spiral and this price of gas before Joe Biden had taken over. Then you could say, okay, well, he's just dealing with what the problems that his predecessor left. But that's not the case, and everybody knows it, and everybody remembers that, and so they compare it.
His first day in office with his executive
Exactly
orders.
right.
I mean, we know when it started. And it started right when he took office. And this is, in a lot of ways, and I've heard you say this, we wonder if this is intentional. Are they trying to pass their New Green Deal? And it looks like they're doing it. But while the American people are dealing with that, you still have the Democrats that are talking about pronouns and talking about, should men be playing in women's sports? It's unbelievable that they're that out of touch with reality, that out of touch with what the American people are dealing with every day.
Yeah.
Republicans are trying to stay focused on the issues that are affecting Americans, and we're having to fight these social battles at the same time, and it's not good for the country.
I still believe that the Democrats, that they'll be able to leverage a couple of things. One is the Roe v. Wade situation that we didn't get a decision today either, by the way. We thought we might. So I think, Rhino, we got 2 days remaining, maybe?
That's correct.
Is that right?
That's right.
Monday's it, right? Got to have it Monday, or is it tomorrow or Thursday is the next decision?
Thursday.
Thursday.
They're
Okay.
speculating that we'll hear it Thursday.
Thursday? Okay. So I think they believe they're going to benefit from that. That's going to energize, because I think it's widely believed that with the draft being leaked that Roe's going to be overturned, and that they will energize their base on that. That and this January 6th deal, which is really not about investigating a breach of the Capitol that day. It's about trying to render Donald Trump ineligible to ever run for office again. That's all they're trying to do.
That's exactly right.
That's all they're trying to do.
That's all they're trying to do. And we'll see what they come up with. Trump has asked for equal time, so we'll see where that goes.
Yeah. He made some statements right over the weekend about should be more Republicans involved in this, because we got, 6 Democrats, 2 Republicans, and the 2 Republicans are kind of anti-Trump people, and that was by design by the Democrats, by the way.
That's right.
It's their legislation.
If Jim Jordan and some of the others that were supposed to be on that committee, I think we'd have a different result. And it's something that should be looked into.
Yeah.
But it should be looked into bipartisan.
Right, right. Or nonpartisan would even be better. Let's don't have any dead-gum elected officials who have a political agenda, as always.
That's right.
Let's get people that are more concerned about securing our federal facilities, especially our Capitol building. And what happened? Why do we have this breakdown in security like this? Should not happen.
That's right.
The U.S.
That's what
Capitol.
they should be investigating is how did it happen and how do we fix it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But doesn't seem to be any interest in that.
No.
It's not part of the agenda, but and it's being sort of lackluster viewing the ratings. If you looked at that, it's kind of boring, honestly. I think they believe that there were going to be these bombshell, revelations. Just really hadn't learned a whole lot new, honestly.
No.
It's nothing. So, but you know what? Gas is still $5 down the corner. That's what people are thinking.
That's exactly right. While they're up there talking about that, we're still dealing with the issues and the bad policies.
What does the party think the prospects are for, of course, taking over the House, but flipping the Senate? Talk about the Senate. What do they think?
I think the Senate is every day it's more in play than the day before, and you're starting to see energy. Pennsylvania, a state that we did not think that we were going to really be able to pull it off. Those polls are getting very tight. And we hadn't even started really campaigning or spending money in some of those states. And so I know the RNC, our chairwoman and co-chair are all over the United States working with candidates, and I'm sure the senatorial committee is as well. So we're definitely going to keep our eye on the ball. We're outraising the Democrats, and hopefully we continue to do that.
Frank, appreciate you coming in, man. Thanks for the update.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Frank Bordeaux, chairman of the Mississippi GOP, has been our guest on Middays. We'll step aside for a break. We'll come right back. Thanks.